Now, this is the last video I'm actually doing about Am Marwa tonight, not like every day. And the question I'm asking is Daniel, the guy who is having a motorcycle, is Daniel, the motorcycle guy, being used as a pawn in this whole thing? And by pawn, I'm talking about P-A-W-N. Is he being used as a pawn in this whole story? Because apparently, Am Marwa needs a lot of hay and he needs to farm because of his horses. And him and his partner Ben, since they can't afford to buy a lot of land has become very expensive in that area recently, they have to look for other farms and list them. This is the thing though, Daniel is the guy who takes Am Marwa wherever he wants to go. He has a motorcycle, so anytime Am Marwa wants to travel within the village, to Nyabuhanse town or even to Sirari center, at the border between Kenya and Tanzania, the guy who takes them is Daniel. So I really want you to understand the context of this matter, of this commentary rather. So as his border guy, you would expect that there's of course that loyalty, because you see, Daniel was introduced to Am Marwa by Getirifa. Now Getirifa used to be the driver and he still is the driver to Am Marwa. So as Getirifa became a big boss too, Am Marwa asked him, now who would you recommend to become my driver? And of course Getirifa recommended that guy by the name Daniel. Now Daniel comes from a very humble background, and I was actually watching a video that was released by Am Marwa, and in that video you could tell the way the Koreans, both of them are Korea, there's a community called Korea. Now as Koreans, there's a way they build their houses, like we've seen in Gokos. Everywhere you go they build the same house, the same type of houses. That's their culture though. Anyway, that's not where I am, but come along with me, because this narration requires us to have the context so that you can understand what I'm going to talk about. Now, I started watching that video at the time Am Marwa, through his partner Ben, and this other guy by the name Daniel, we are plowing Daniel's land. And for the longest time, that community, they grow corn or maize. But this time round, Daniel was convinced by Am Marwa and Ben that maybe you can lease us this land, and then we're going to come and plant hay. That's going to take about 3 months. And then once we are done planting hay, we will make the first harvest. We are not going to pay you for the first harvest. We are going to do everything with your farm. So you're not actually even leasing to us. The first harvest is not a lease. So, and you're gonna have to go and watch that video, or I can even try and look, maybe link or add a very small extract of that portion here so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So Am Marwa has decided, I'm going to farm this land that belongs to Daniel and his Daniel's family, and then once I'm done, the second harvest, the third, and forever, you'll be doing it by yourselves, and then you'll be selling it to us using the market price. Now I need you to understand this. So for the next 3 months, that land is not even leased. So Am Marwa is going to do everything. Like right now, he's the one who's plowing, he's doing everything, and then they plant hay, probably so that they can teach Daniel and the family how to plant, how to take care of that hay until it grows, how to harvest that hay. Now, Daniel did not have a choice to say no, whether he liked it or he did not like it, because there's a guy by the name Papa Norris. Am Marwa keeps on mentioning Papa Norris. He's the one who bought Daniel's bike. Now, when Papa Norris bought Daniel's bike, it was bought because of Am Marwa. Remember, Am Marwa's platform is the one that activates those donations. So in one or the other, Daniel will always feel indebted to Am Marwa. So whatever request Am Marwa can have, whether it pleases Daniel or does not please him, Daniel will have a very hard time to say no. He can't, because he's already chained. Again, there's a possibility that he feels maybe being close to Am Marwa, maybe in future something might come out of it. And I highly doubt, because the things we've seen with Musabi was working for Ethrifa and Am Marwa at the same time, but the way he was treated in his exit, it was very, very unfair. Remember, guys, the way Daniel has been portrayed by Am Marwa is that he has no interest in YouTube, which I highly doubt. That's a lie. Because one thing people are really forgetting, even the employees, the ones that they're being told they cannot record or make videos in that place, one thing we keep on forgetting is the fact that these are villagers within the same community. So Daniel is he's very young, he's looking at all the other young guys and he's like, hey, wait, the likes of Daniel from Goko's place, he's already building a house. He has built a house with less than 5 months. He's actually now living in his own house. Well, it's through donations, of course. And these guys are looking at it like, hey, YouTube gives people donations. Remember, they are not learned. Daniel, the bike guy, he did not go to school based on the revelation that we have been given. So he doesn't have the intelligence to understand, like, it does not work like that. And of course, he's hardworking. The fact that he was working with a motorcycle as a boda guy, it tells you he was willing to do whatever he can do to safeguard his family and to provide for his family. But with the current situation, he's just being used as a pawn, if you ask me, and that's my opinion. And he does not have the power to veto, because he cannot do anything. He has a new boss, and this boss has come with rules. You cannot have a YouTube channel. And this boss is coming with new interests, because there's a reason as to why Am Marwa was really rooting for somebody to buy this Daniel a motorcycle. Because look, even that motorcycle, we understand that I think Am Marwa has a motorcycle, Rocio has a motorcycle. Why wouldn't they choose to take that one motorcycle and give it to Daniel? Instead, anytime a young person in that village needs help, Am Marwa does not go back to his pocket. He goes back to the viewers, the subscribers, who I would say majority, if not all, are somehow gullible, because they always fall for his tricks, Good for him. He managed to, to entice and woo them. And at the end of the day, he gets whatever he wants. But this is the question though. Why was he rooting for these guys so much? He was rooting, you guys, you need to buy Daniel a motorcycle, you need to buy Daniel a bike. And you see, with that bike, Daniel can obviously not work as a boda guy. Reason being, because anytime Am Marwa needs him, he's gonna always be there, whether he likes it or he doesn't like it. So eventually, people were buying this bike for Am Marwa unknowingly, because that bike has to be used by Am Marwa anytime he needs to move around the village. So Daniel is indirectly enslaved, and he has no choice. To make matters worse, he has now, his land is his, courtesy of the papers. The title deed will claim that this is Daniel's land, but by functionality, that land does not belong to Daniel, because it's being shifted from farming maize and crops that would help him and his family to now farming hay, and he has no control over it. Remember what Am Marwa said about his dad, that his dad is actually a drunkard, and now dealing with people who are drunk. And I don't know why Am Marwa loves it when the people he's working with, they have very dysfunctional homes, because he knows it's very easy to infiltrate, because he understands that these people are desperate, and you cannot work with people who are not desperate. And perhaps it's good if some of you are going to watch this, you need to understand, because you need to understand one thing. A lot of people here who go seeking work, sometimes they don't have a choice. They don't even understand their rights, as long as they get something to take to their families. Because of one thing. You see, like now in that community, Daniel revealed that they are 9 kids, his father and the mother have 9 kids, 6 boys and 3 girls. Daniel himself has already married, which also tells you about the culture of those people. And that's why when people hear Am Marwa talking about I want to have 10 kids, they kind of think he's joking, but could be he has always been serious, because that's what he grew up seeing. People marrying more than one woman. That, like, polygamy is very high in those areas, but not everywhere in Kenya. It's not everywhere in Kenya that polygamy is like that. You go to a place like central Kenya. In central Kenya, guys are not even willing, some are not even willing to marry. You will not find, maybe those practicing polygamy in 2026, maybe 0.1% of the whole central Kenya area. It's the people in the coastal regions, western regions, northern Kenya. Those are the ones who really practice that. But here in central Kenya, eastern Kenya, that practice is rarely done. Anyway, so Daniel has how many other kids? How many other siblings? 8. And 2, the young ones, 2, the girl and the boy we saw, Mboke, and the other boy, Samson, they're the ones in school. So Am Marwa comes with a new trick. Let me use these kids as pawn as well, because if I can use the bike and these kids to control and manipulate Daniel, then I'm going to have it easy. Because in all this, Am Marwa is looking at his own interest. What are my horses going to feed? How am I going to be moving around this place? It's not about helping Daniel. How am I going to ensure that I have Daniel hooked up to me, just like he has Getrifa hooked up to himself? Because he loves it, he has to take advantage of everything. There's no way Am Marwa is going to come and help you and allow you to be. Even Daniel, the other guy who's building at Goko's house, that's the only person I kind of feel like he was just he's one of the guys who just benefited indirectly, and it's because he was the one being left in charge of Brian. You understand? So, and you guys look at it. Even then, Am Marwa, once he was done with Goko's project, he wanted to wash his hands completely. So he did not want anything to do with Brian. So that's why he appointed a guy to play his role, and that was Daniel. And then he just gave Daniel an idea, which I don't think he thought Daniel would grow up that fast. But he did. Again, the likes of Daniel are his pawns. Those are guys he's going to manipulate any way he wants, like the way Getrifa was being used. Getrifa is the one who was being used to call Max Brian and to demand money for the horse. And I'm pretty sure nowadays they don't. And they can't even try to attempt and call Max Brian. Max Brian is right now playing a very different game. But all in all, Am Marwa is always gonna look for guys to use. And he never does that for the benefit of the person he thinks he's helping. No. On camera, he's one guy. In reality, he's a different guy. Because on camera, he will make sure that the way he narrates things is a way to for the people to understand and fall in love with him. For instance, even the questions he was asking were so leading, because he asked, what does your father do for a living? No, he doesn't have a job. He lends this land, he leases this land. So how much? Listen here very carefully. Daniel was asked, and the small sister and the small brother were there. What does your mother do for a living? They said, my mother makes charcoal and then sells charcoal, which is okay. And then what does your father do? And remember, we already know that the father drinks, and that information did not come from Daniel. It came from Am Marwa's mouth. The way he also said about Musabi's father, that he drinks. Those words always come from Am Marwa's mouth. They do not necessarily come from the person he's talking about. So here we are. He asked again, so how much was your dad being paid? Once he leases this land, and he said, one season he gets paid 60,000. Now 60,000 is like $600. $550 US dollars, or actually 500. Let's just call it 500 US dollars for 6 months. Now Am Marwa says that piece of land can produce about 250 bucks, 250 sets of heads. I don't know what they're called, whether they're called sets, pieces, whatever. But he says that it can sell 250 pieces of hay, and one piece, no, 600 or 60, I think it was 600 pieces of hay in that piece of land, 600 pieces of hay from that land, and one piece goes for 250. That's where the 250 was coming. Now, remember, the 250 Kenyan shilling that Am Marwa is talking about is the market price within the country. Now, I need you to understand this word, market price. Market price. You see, once you multiply 600 by 250, it obviously comes around 1,500 US dollars. Now, with 1,500 US dollars, it seems like a good deal for the Daniel and the family, because initially they were making $500. Now here it's $1,500. So minus the expenses, just call it $1,000. So selling hay to the Marwas looks more like, it's a profitable business. But this is what people don't even understand. First of all, Am Marwa, recently you're going to hear that word a lot, market price, market price, market price. This is the current market price. He loves it. When he's receiving, when he is giving service, he doesn't like you guys to get his product or his package. He has a tourism company. He would not want you to get a package using the market price. He would want to market his package as high quality. That's why he talks about somebody to come and invest in the village and build an expensive coffee place. You see, like the way we have different coffee houses. Because I kind of think like, he looks at his village and thinks about a very huge estate where it's an elite estate where only the rich can afford. That's why he's really pushing a river to build a very huge villa, so that all his neighbors will kind of look alike. Like, it's a class thing. He wants to elevate that place to only suit a certain class of people. And that's why he's buying a lot of pieces of land, because he wants a lot of villagers to be out of that village so that he can welcome a new class of elite. And that's why I keep on saying the future is in Africa, the future is in Africa. That message is not for Kenyans, that message is not for Africans. It's for people to come and invest in the village so that they can elevate his status. He wants to be surrounded by rich people. That's why you see his brother is doing something there, and then he's doing something, and the sister is also doing something, because they want Nyabohanse to be a place where, if you want to visit, you want to go to that place. And it's going to be kind of difficult anyway. It's not going to be that easy the way he thinks, but it's not a bad thing. That one is not a bad thing. The problem is the way he does it. Anyway, while we are still talking about Daniel, Daniel is going to be used for as long as he can be used, and later be disposed. His two siblings, the brother and the sister, who are currently in grade 8 within the Kenyan system, grade 8, and then you go to senior school. No, he's already rooting for them to have a sponsor. And you know what? I would love them to have a sponsor. I'm not against that. But then the thing is not about the sponsor. You have to look beyond the sponsorship. You have to understand that it's one of the bargaining powers for Am Marwa, so that he can gain more control over the land that Daniel and the father are plowing. And you see, there's a possibility that Daniel has started to note some tricks, because these people will continue, selling hay, and then 1 year, 2 years down the line, the language is going to be changed. And guess what they're going to be asked? Now, you guys, why don't you consider selling me this land? Like, I've been playing a very huge role in your family. You guys sold, I've enticed people to pay school fees for your kids. Your son Daniel, were it not for me, he would not be having this bike. Like, I'm literally changing and transforming your whole life. You understand? And that's how crazy it's going to be, because initially I used to think of Am Marwa as a very nice guy, as a very good guy. That was my initial thoughts. And it took me time to listen to what other commentaries are talking about him, and I kind of thought that they're just hating on him, until I started sitting down and analyzing and seeing those behaviors repeating themselves. And I realized the kind of a guy we're having here is not somebody you can even trust. You understand? And these are things that we need to talk about. But we also do not need to be malicious about it, because we are not here for a smear campaign against the guy, but we are here to talk about the truth. Because you see, I'm an African, I understand these things. I understand how labor laws work. I understand how people can be manipulated. I understand poverty is a huge thing, and sometimes people are gonna do stupid things because they don't have a choice. Think about like the adult film industry. See, in the adult film industry, money is the lure. People are desperate to make it in life. People are desperate to be successful. People are desperate to be seen as somebody in their communities. And out of that desperation, people end up making very stupid mistakes. And that's what happened. Like, there was a story here in the country Kenya. There's a guy, you can go and Google a guy by the name James Opande. James Opande. There was a story that was trending, and that's a story that involves two stupid people with lustful desires. This one wants money, this one just wants women. And when you mix those two, the decision that is going to be made is very, very stupid. So the same thing is happening to somebody like Daniel. Daniel is just desperate to make it as a young man. He has a family, he has a wife and has a daughter. He just wants to make the best and provide for his daughter. But now, because he doesn't have a choice, he has to follow everything Am Marwa has tell him. But I kind of feel he's just being used as a pawn, and at the right time he's going to be disposed of. And by the time he's being disposed, he's going to be labeled the ungrateful, because that's what Am Marwa does. He's going to one day make a live video and say this guy is so ungrateful, and you people are going to watch him and start saying, oh, why doesn't this guy appreciate? Isn't Am Marwa the person who helped him to get another bike? Isn't Am Marwa the person who helped him to pay the school fees? Remember, all this time, the people who have helped Brian is not Am Marwa. It is donors. Am Marwa is just his YouTube, and that's why it's not growing. It's actually just a platform for begging and activating donations. No regrets for saying that, because that's what I have observed. You rarely see a video where he's not asking for people to come through for this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And in one or the other, he collects something. Otherwise, guys, I'm gonna add this one here. See you in the next one. Keep subscribing, keep watching, keep liking more actually. Keep liking, keep commenting as well. And we'll continue improving on this day by day. Other than that, I'm wishing you a very lovely evening. It's in the evening here in Kenya. And cheers.